Hello, good evening. I was just doing my own thing, minding my own business, working, and I was just called to make a message for what's known as the collective on certain streams, the collective, but um, I am not using tarot. I just, that's just not a tool that I use. Uh, I've been trained since I was a kid in things like yoga from the time I was 3 to remote viewing, remote distance body scanning and healing, and tested on accuracy from the time I was 11. So this has been my own journey, and I'm very careful how I use the skill set. I think anyone can develop their skill set if they want to. To what extent, I don't know. Everybody's different. Everyone's on a different path. Everybody's nervous systems are different. People are willing to do different things. Some people it's not important to at all. And it's not like it is or isn't important to me. It's just who I am. Can't really escape that. And so, luckily, it doesn't go away. And so whenever I tap back into, and really now I've learned that it's this past year that's really changed and allowed me as a person to go back to who I was before I was a teenage girl and an adult woman. And so I've sort of returned to the state that I was in all those years ago and for so many years. My identity was fully formed before I became a biological creature capable of reproduction. And that sort of had a lot to do with how I identified in the world. And it was really interesting. So now I get to go back to the person I kind of thought I would be when all of that was done. And in fact, I was correct. So for the most part, I'm myself again. And honestly, what a blessing. What a blessing that is. So, when I am called to follow my intuition, I follow what I'm being called to listen to much of the time, listen to. I think things for me might come through clairaudiently a lot. And uh, I hear on a different wavelength than what I think I see. I think they are definitely different um, spectrums of light. That's what I'm reading. They're closely related. And I also have to be careful not to objectify the impressions I get because when I'm seeing and reading, because I was called to actually do a reading for the collective right now. I've only done that a couple of times, but never really this strongly. Before it was like, well, let me just see. But this time I was called to come on right now and give the message that I'm about to give, which of course I have no idea what it is because I haven't started allowing that message, whatever it is, to come through because I wanted to do as I was told, which is, hey, you know what? Go on. My intuition told me to start a live stream right now. So, and explain a little bit about how this works for me and how it can work for you. I see and hear and know things. I will any and all of my senses can be involved in what I receive. And I've learned a bit more about how to keep my mind from trying to turn that into a story because it's your story. You need to see what it is that I am envisioning is around you. And that is energy that is out there right now. And how it's impacting you is how you receive it. And some things will feel very, very specific, just like I'm talking right to you. Well, it's because I am. There's wavelengths, and certain people will be on the same kind of wavelength together in this, on a very similar timeline. So it's very possible that some of you will resonate with three or four other people in the chat about certain things and not other things, maybe, but it's okay because what it is take the energies, allow them to interface with your vibration, with your what you're putting off here. Your heart space resonates very specifically to how resonant you are in how well your machine is running. You are the technology. So, that said, we want you running with very smoothly. So, you want to get your upgrades, your bug fixes, your downloads, and new stuff, and all of that, right? And on a regular basis. So that's part of what I teach. But right now, this is about the download. How can you interface with what I'm about to tell you? Just receive it in the same way I am putting it out there for you. Just the intuition that's out there. There's a flow of intuition out there. I'm tapping into the same thing you can tap into. So open yourself up to what I am tapping into, which is a general collective vibe in the space, and let it hit you, let it receive you, you receive it, let the energy come to you, and be discerning, use your logic, and your intuition together. And what I'm seeing right now is a okay, here we go. Okay, a bunch of things are coming through. So it's an overlay of triangular geometric shaped uh triangles, geometric shaped triangles, and I almost want to say kind of like you'd see in sunflower seeds, but I'm seeing a lot of them stacked up really quick, like they're almost made of either just a pencil drawing or glass, or they're very see-through. They're little, they're light. I don't know, it feels like almost someone is actually building something out there using this type of either actual physical material or a digital material. It's in the form of like pie-shaped cubes, like you'd see a little slice of cheese from a wheel of cheese. So all these little clear shaped things that they're using actually to build something. And you may also feel that you are building something now, and this is a crystalline infrastructure that you're using. Use it in a spiral up manner, but also remember there's a spiral down that is part of what infuses the engine to keep working, that creates that electromagnetic space. It's the same thing when you breathe into your heart space and you allow your heart to settle and become that beacon. It gives the information to the brain that we're good to go, and the brain can go offline or online or wherever you direct it. And that is what I'm seeing for you. That don't forget that, yes, there's a spiraling up, and you're doing a great job with that. But keep yourself balanced as well with the double toroidal field. Some of it's going up, some of it's coming down at the same time. And that's where your breath can help you breathe in and out. It keeps that flow, that ebb and flow, the tides, the waters. Everything is some form of plasma. Everything is a wave of light. And on the light spectrum, some of it is visible to your eyes and some of it is visible to your ears. All of our senses intake the light frequencies differently. So, with this frequency that you're building of light, I'm seeing a reflection, a very flat reflection of I actually am seeing someone's maybe like farm or ranch, and I'm seeing cows in the moonlight, and I can see grass, but it's also middle of winter and it's cold, it seems, and there's, little puffs of smoke coming from the cows' noses. It looks like it's cold out. And I see stars in the sky, and um this is a call for you to be very aware in your space right now. If this seems like it is your space that I'm talking about, just to be aware in the moment. Use your intuition in the moment. If you see something like this out your back door, and you're seeing moonlight and maybe some silhouettes out there, maybe, the dog and the fence and the neighbors, look outside and take this moment into your intuition means right now, breath into the heart, give it, a nice, you don't have to do box breathing or anything like that. 5 in, 5 out, 5 in, 6 out, take a nice deep breath in and sigh it out. And really let it out like that. And have a nice uh, rhythm. You have got to feel good in your heart. You have got to breathe into your heart space and get enough oxygen into your blood for you to start humming, for you to start feeling good. When you go out and you walk or you run or you do something and your body starts buzzing and your heart feels good, that heart space is the beacon. And you can't overlook the actual, getting your heart beating, because then you're naturally going to be breathing into your heart space. I know we breathe into our lungs, but we want to really focus that energy in the oxygenation of the blood and the heart space. And then it tells the brains that everything is good, we're doing good. Feel emotions like in your heart. Feel it, experience right now as you're looking out your back door. And so there's someone coming in with this. There's someone now that you've kind of keyed in and looked out your windows and you're seeing the outside. And if you're sitting outside and it is like moonlit and there's a lot of blackness outside and a lot of spots of light outside, I am talking to you, and I'm seeing that this space right there has allowed you to exist in for one moment in a liminal kind of space in your neurology where you're sort of relaxed, a little bit bored even, and you're looking out in this space and have allowed it's opened up for a masculine energy to come through. And I'm just really seeing a masculine energy. It literally just looks like a white stick figure, like made of chalk person against black. It's just energy. It's just glowing energy that looks like a round person with a stick body. There's no real description to it. So it actually, let me look into this a little bit further. It looks like a man. I'm okay. I'm seeing this man who is actually coming through for someone specifically who can look down over the street where their dad or grandfather used to cross every day, and they'd watch the window and they'd look down. Okay, so as if you're maybe on the second or third floor of the corner of a building, and you can look down and watch him cross the street every day. And he wears like a one of those flat like paper boy hats and carries a briefcase. I, like loves the sweaters and had a particular like brown outfit that you really loved. I don't know. So I'm seeing this person walking across the street and you watching them walk across the street as a memory, and that in your field definitely keeps this person alive in your world when you're looking out on cold winter nights like this, and it reminds you of that particular time. And this person, their energy is definitely still with you, and this gives you comfort in a like very confident, honest, and like grandfatherly way, but it could be a father. It's just I see it as masculine, not necessarily paternal or maternal. I would lean towards paternal, but it could be anyone in your family that just fits that description. I'm seeing literally what someone is seeing during that moment, and they're with you. I mean, I got the name Benjamin, something like that. Maybe they lived on Benjamin Road. I don't know. So if that's you, just know that this energy still exists. Now, the reason why I hesitate to say this person is with you and is part of your spirit team is because it's not really coming through like that. It's coming through like they come in and out as you desire, but they're not here as a fixture of your like spirit team on a day to day. Just like here, everybody's kind of got their level of interest in you and your evolution. It's the same thing for like a spirit team or people that aren't even on your spirit team. You can sometimes call them in and interface a little bit. And that's sort of what I'm getting about this energy is that this person actually has moved to a timeline where they had some repairs to do that was one of the few timelines that you guys did not intertwine, and they're just doing some work over there. It's not even, I don't even see like a full entire lifetime. I'm seeing like they just are able to come in during like I'm saying the middle age time span in another timeline, come in, fix some things, and get out. And going back and fixing things is creating dharma when you're trying to like fix karma. And so what it seems like is you actually have the ability to pop into and out of timelines just through pure intention. And if you actually have a nervous system that can hold that type of intention for that length of time and divert enough energy from this space where you're creating here to do something like that, um, what does that even mean? It seems like it would be extremely draining. You have to know what you are doing. You have to have a prepped nervous system. You have to not take for granted the neurotransmitters and different vitamins and minerals that get used up when you're using that type of literal brain and heart power coherence to send messages or to make things happen in other timelines. So there's someone else that I think is a different person out there who is, I'm seeing like, it seems like warm daytime, light, maybe a big green grass at a park or a big lawn, and like a pale yellow circular blanket over it. Now, these things that I could be objectifying in my brains, right? It might be a pale yellow circle of some type, and for some reason I'm imagining like some kind of blanket for a picnic outside on the grass. It might not be those things. Think in daytime, warm, springtime kind of vibe. We've got a pale yellow circular thing that seems like it goes on the ground or something, and a sprawling green space outside amongst the trees. It seems like there's water outside. It seems like, I mean, it reminds me of somewhere that I have been in the 70s in Georgia. It was like a plantation house or something like that. So this is sort of what's coming to my mind as a loose interpretation to give to you. I don't know if this is your space or you're traveling somewhere. I'm kind of almost getting This is where someone's planning to get married in the spring. You've just been engaged and you're being married in, oh, okay. Okay. And you're really thinking a lot about this now that it's real for you. I get it. Yeah, it seems like just you've got the visioning down, and the key to holding this vision as you're doing, because you're really putting a lot of effort into manifesting this, but also remember that in the moment, reserve that moment for being there then when it materializes. There you can manifest everything, but that moment, let it be real and organic and not manifested yet. So what I'm saying is like create just a space holder, and then when you everything you build and your timelines are now coming together in that moment, it's just new and fresh. And then even if it's the moments afterwards you've already sort of scripted energetically, just try to reserve enough real organic space for something fresh and unplanned to come through in that beautiful moment when you actually are saying your vows. That is what I'm getting for you, that there's someone actually wanting you to see the layers. I'm seeing like layers and layers and layers of white icing, like layers and layers and layers of white icing. And it's like on a wedding cake, but it also is meaning layers of like understanding for each other, how marriage can be layers and layers and layers of understanding for one another, and to leave enough space in between the layers for the sweetness. This is what I'm hearing. Literally, there's someone here for you. I want to say Bella, something like this, and Tanya. I'm getting these names, and it could be just B names or T names. You know, like I said, it's possible that my brain connects a name to a B or a T, or it could be similar to a Tanya or a Bella or some combination of these names. This is how it comes through. Sometimes I hear words, sometimes I see things. Sometimes I just have a knowing or a feeling or a vibe about things. This feels very light. It feels very nice. It seems like you're doing the right thing. There's not a whole lot to be concerned or worry about. So don't create stuff to worry or be concerned about, okay? Enjoy the process. You're a strong manifester, so don't push it too much. I'm getting like an M name, like a Molly or Maggie or Mindy or Mandy or something like that involved, and all of that okay, well, so that name came through with a little bit of shadow self. So apparently you've got like a shadow self in the form of possibly another person who will inevitably be there. Could be a close relationship, maybe a sibling or a parent or something, I don't know. But this person does represent more of a shadow part of you. But just remember, sometimes the shadow parts of you aren't necessarily just within you. Sometimes they literally are represented in other people. And you don't want to brace yourself for this. You've got to just do a little bit of work to make sure that you are embracing the reality of shadows. It's okay. You know, there's this is a three-dimensional world still for a lot of people. There's always for some people going to be you and them. And some people project and other people reflect. So when someone who reflects get around someone who projects, this person just sees back their own projection. And that makes them very uncomfortable. And all the person who's reflecting does is just be themselves. And that's kind of how it works. You know, you're either someone who projects your reality onto other people and their realities. I mean, that's different from manifesting. And then there's those who just reflect, and unless you're reflecting another reflector, you're going to be reflecting back a lot of ego and a lot of attachment to the person who's in ego and attachment states. And I'm coming right back to what we were saying earlier in when I first started seeing those like little plastic or glass triangles that are up, they're up here. I don't know why they're up here. This is my masculine side. I'm kind of getting the idea that someone's an architect or building, and maybe you're like building a greenhouse, a rooftop deck with a greenhouse or something like that, with these like snap together triangles. Um, I mean, I see that going really well. The only thing I'm hearing is just to be careful of like wind. I do private readings, psychicbestie.com. You can go to my website and check that out, psychicbestie.com. I have pricing and everything, so I do remote readings just fine. Uh, Literally, I think remote is best. I do not need to be in the same room as you. As a matter of fact, it's highly possible that for you to be in the room with me for more than 30 minutes would possibly fry your nervous system, like getting too much Reiki. I learned over the years that I need to be very careful. The people around me almost like get radiation um, poisoning. Honestly, there's just only so much Reiki you should get. There's only so much you should be around certain types of energies. I put out a lot of energy, even though I harness it, I still have a very broad field. And to be around me for any length of time is not easy for most people, and vice versa. So I prefer remote sessions, but I do have a really nice space where we can meet if you're in my area and do a half hour. Can you even imagine doing more than that? Although we can do an hour if you desire that. So, either way, you can see all of that on my website. But I wanted to bring you this message. I think that's everything, if I can recall correctly. So, there was the thing about the triangles being kind of like snapped together, some kind of architecture. I'm saying like a rooftop greenhouse or something, a rooftop deck, something like that. Just be careful of the wind. I'm seeing a large light space with a circular pale yellow blanket or some kind of surface there that you might get on or walk on or lay on or sleep on. And it's outside, it seems, during the day. It seems like later spring, like a kind of mature spring in like Atlanta, Georgia, or somewhere like that. Somewhere that would be, I mean, even like Costa Rica, but I'm getting more of like a United States feel there. And it seems like there's a wedding involved, and it seems like you just need to just temperance, okay? If you know anything about different cards, look up the meaning of the temperance card. This is about remaining balanced. And so leave room for planning and manifestation, but also leave room for organic openness so that you can be in the moment, half in the moment, and then the other half manifesting. And then person who might be seeing the outdoor view of the cows and the moon and the dark, dark, dark night too, because a lot of times when there's a moon, it's not really that dark outside, but I see it as dark and it is cold. And this is the moment when you just drop into that heart space, start breathing, and really feel your presence right now. Ground yourself, go hang on to a tree limb. Sometimes you can just reach up and grab, if it's not huge, put your hands on a tree, do something to ground yourself, breathe some cold air, allow your senses to bring you into your intuitive awareness, like really become intuitive. That was the message for you, is that right now in that space where you can be sort of like half bored, it's a liminal space. And when you're wanting to tap into your own intuition and psychic abilities, so you grow your intuition with work, you grow that into psychic abilities. And then with work, you turn all your psychic abilities and you develop the clairs, and you have a great command of, you can test, you can train, you can become highly accurate through evidential testing, where you can prove whether or not you are picking up on the right stuff. That's when you are an oracle. And that is where I am now, where I do not use tools to see. I've just developed and trained myself and been in the spaces from the time I was a little kid. And I'm sorry, my dog's like really smelly right now. Um, For real. So on my website, Psychic Bestie, you can look and see exactly how I was trained and what that means, and blind testing and accuracy, and see what my skill sets are and how that shows up in the real world. But you can also do that. The other thing is that I do not speak unless I'm live streaming or doing a reading. I prefer not to speak, and I was nonverbal as a child for till I was like almost 4 years old. So um, I guess I do prefer a half hour read, and I think that everything that needs to come through comes through within that half hour. What happens usually is it comes through within the first few minutes, and then it comes back around with a little more, and back around with a little more, and back around with a little more. It seems to go back through and be like, oh, and this one here, oh, and this one that, and oh, this one over here. I'm seeing this for that, and somehow it all comes together. That seems to be how it goes, and probably aligns with your own intuition. So your intuition and my highly developed full spectrum clairs and all of that stuff work together remotely or in person. But like I said, I prefer remote. And I connect with you. You'll see the first few minutes of a reading, I connect with you, and you'll know. And that's it. So that is the end of this reading. Um, Again, if you want, you can go find my profile and the website, which is psychicbestie.com. And I'll talk to you guys again real soon.